So hello everybody, I'm back again, and I just wanted to finish up these slides in chapter 15 with regard to the terminal cash flow. So we talked about you had a project going, you made some investment into a project, and you hopefully made some cash from this project, a profit, whatever. And now you decide that this project is over and you're going to terminate this project. And there's a final cash flow associated with terminating the project. And there's a couple bullets here, and basically, as what it says here is this is the cash flow resulting from termination and liquidation of a project at the end of its economic life. There could be many reasons why the project is over. Maybe it's not making money for you no more, or maybe the competition put it beyond what its worth is to anybody anymore. You're not getting any sales. So it represents the after-tax cash flow exclusive of any operating cash inflows in the final year of the project. It's basically the salvage point where you're just selling off everything. It's kind of like, you bought a car, right? And then you might have bought a limo, and then you drove the limo for many years and made a profit on driving the limo, like an Uber car or something. And then you went and you basically sold the car. So that would have its salvage value. So when we terminate, so we got to terminate the cash flow, the terminal cash flow, and again we come up with this term net working capital, and this is not always true that it reversions back to the initial net working capital. This is they're making a very general statement here. So as we talked about, you could have somebody you had to hire to take care of a new machine you bought. And here they're kind of implying that, well, if the new machine is being sold and salvaged, you would lay the guy off, and now you got to change your net working capital. But it doesn't always work out that way. And as they said, you could have a cash inflow due to the reduction in net working capital, which refers to like laying somebody off or something like that. So here's the general little spreadsheet with regards to your terminal cash flow. You've got after-tax proceeds from the sale of the new asset, right? You basically are going to have to pay taxes if it's already been depreciated down, right? Because as I always say, you can't have your cake and eat it too. And you may have an old asset, you may or may not have. So you may have taken care of this early on. And again, here's your change in your net working capital. And the sum or subtraction of these will give you your terminal cash flow as shown right here. So here's a quick example. And you'll see Powell Corporation is going to liquidate the new machine after 5 years, and they're going to get $50,000. The old machine, they still have it for some reason, can be liquidated to get $10,000, and they're going to recover their $17,000 net working capital in one form or another, and they pay taxes at the 40% tax rate. So if we take 40%, you'll notice here that this is the taxes on sale of the proposed machine, and basically you got to take into account depreciation here and everything, how much, whatever the book value is at that point. So you're left with $38,000. And here's your after-tax proceeds from the sale of the old machine. This has been fully depreciated. So 40% of that is basically $4,000, and that leaves you with $6,000. And here's your $17,000 that was given for the net working capital. And your terminal cash flow then becomes the sum of $38,000, $6,000, and $17,000, which is $49,000. That's your final terminal cash flow. All right, so if you summarize, here we just summarize our relevant cash flows, and this overall example we did, you'll notice this was your initial investment way back, and here's your cash flows, and this is the bottom line. Here's your terminal cash flow. So your total cash flow with your last operating cash flow and your terminal cash flow is 122,200. So, I mean, this is a pretty straightforward example. And there's a personal finance example that does similar things about selling, and you can go through this yourself. This is pretty important when it comes to, personal finance, because we all have to do this. Here's your operating cash flows, and, you bought a car, and here's the personal finance example of the cash flows. You paid for the car after you sold your old car, and here's your the money you're saving or spending each year on the car. So here's your cash flows. So that's pretty much it. If anybody has any questions, as always, feel free to email me, and we'll move on to. I'll do a couple slides when I get a chance on chapter 12. All right, everybody, have a good weekend.